is Tuesday, April 5th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. Well, the Bank of England in London, which now supervises insurance and reinsurance, had a couple of comments today. Chris Mulder, the Director of General Insurance, said that insurers should check their capital levels as premiums on policies will probably continue to soften this year. He said very tough market conditions are likely to continue throughout this year. He said we see premium rates in several lines continue to fall, and at the same time, extended terms and conditions are being accepted by insurers. He said that companies have thus far been cushioned by the absence of any significant natural catastrophe losses. He said that we expect boards to ensure that the firm's assessment of risk and capital remain valid in this difficult trading environment. Boards should be, quote, relentlessly inquisitive in understanding and challenging controls of underwriting. Mulder also said that there were risks of over-reliance on using models when buying reinsurance to cut capital costs, pointing out the difficulties in estimating exactly when a 1 in 200 year event might occur. That's going to definitely shake some things up. There was a tourist helicopter crash in Sevier County in Tennessee yesterday afternoon, killing 5 people. It was a Bell 206 sightseeing helicopter operated by a company called Smoky Mountain Helicopters. They've been in business since 1964, operating aerial tours. A think tank operated by Johns Hopkins University said that recent satellite images are indicating, quote, suspicious activity at North Korea's main nuclear site in Yongbyon, which could mean that reprocessing is underway to produce more plutonium for atomic bombs. The report said that exhaust plumes have been detected on several occasions from the thermal plant at Yongbyon's radiochemical laboratory, the country's main reprocessing installation that produces plutonium. According to Johns Hopkins, exhaust plumes have rarely been seen there, and none have been observed in any imagery this past winter. This could mean that operators of the facility are heating their buildings, perhaps indicating that activity is being undertaken or will be in the near future. The report cited congressional testimony on February 9th by the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, saying that North Korea could begin to recover plutonium from spent fuel at Yongbyon within a matter of weeks or months. If the North Koreans do begin to process plutonium, this is going to cause major concern at the UN Security Council. The release of the 11.5 million documents yesterday from the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca has reverberated around the world. Authorities in many countries have opened investigations into the activities of the world's rich and powerful who were named in the release of the documents. Among those named are friends of Russian President Vladimir Putin and relatives of the leaders of China, Britain, Iceland, and Pakistan, as well as the President of Ukraine. Following the reports, China, of course, moved to limit local access to coverage of the matter, with state media denouncing Western reporting on the leak as biased against non-Western leaders. Some of those non-Western countries that have begun to investigate this are France, Australia, New Zealand, Austria, Sweden, and the Netherlands, including the United States, and the Prime Minister of Iceland is out. All of those countries, of course, are Western countries. And in Louisiana yesterday, a federal judge granted a final approval to an estimated $20 billion settlement that BP, the oil company, is going to have to pay for the massive oil spill of the Macondo oil well. That spill is the largest maritime oil spill in history. It also included a $5.5 billion fine the company is going to have to pay under the Clean Water Act. The $20 billion approved yesterday to the government is added to the 30-some-odd billion dollars that has already been paid out in private settlements. The total for BP is going to be about $53 billion. The federal judge said that BP had been grossly negligent in the offshore rig explosion, which killed 11 workers and caused a 134 million gallon oil spill. In Indonesia, the Maritime Affairs and Fisheries Minister, a woman named Susi Pujastuti, led the blowing up this morning of 23 foreign fishing boats that had been caught poaching in Indonesian waters. The minister led the destruction of the boats from her office in a live streaming video conference, including officers from the Navy and the National Police. She said the sinking of the boats is to enforce our law and protect the sovereignty of our territory. 13 of the boats that were blown up were from Vietnam, 10 were from Malaysia. The Indonesian government frequently sinks fishing boats after they're caught operating. A number of other countries simply impound the fishing boats and arrest the crew. Indonesia has a different way of handling it. Last night, the college basketball season ended. Villanova, in a little bit of an upset, beat North Carolina. And today, in the Bronx in New York, the Yankees are going to have their home opener. It's going to be about 38 degrees when the first pitch is thrown. It's going to be freezing. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.